Skol, Vikings. Stop everything you're doing right now because a massive shakeup has just hit our front office. We are talking about a significant arrival that is sending shockwaves through the league, bringing in a wealth of veteran experience to help shape our future behind the scenes. This move is absolutely huge for our organization, but what exactly does this mean for our path to the championship? Trust me, you do not want to miss the details on this major addition. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop a comment below. Let's dive into this breaking information right now. The Minnesota Vikings are expanding their front office leadership by hiring former Chicago Bears general manager Ryan Pace as a football advisor. This move, reported by ESPN's Kevin Seifert, brings a veteran executive with 25 years of NFL experience into the organization. Pace, a 49-year-old Texas native who played defensive end at Eastern Illinois, arrives in Minnesota following a 4-year stint with the Atlanta Falcons. During his time in Atlanta, Pace served in multiple high-level roles, including Vice President of Football Operations and Player Personnel, Senior Personnel Executive, and Director of Player Personnel. His journey in the league began with 14 seasons in the New Orleans Saints organization, where he climbed the ranks from an assistant to Director of Pro Scouting and later Director of Player Personnel. Most recently, Pace concluded his time with the Falcons in February. His career is marked by a long track record of talent evaluation and professional scouting duties across 3 different organizations. While he will not be making direct personnel decisions for the Vikings, his extensive background is intended to serve as a resource for the team's front office operations. The addition of Pace reflects a strategic emphasis on incorporating experienced personnel voices to support the team's current structure. Known for his tenure as the Bears general manager from 2015 to 2021, Pace oversaw significant roster moves and team developments during that 7-year stretch. He led the front office through a rebuild, eventually winning the NFC North in 2018 under head coach Matt Nagy and returning to the playoffs in 2020. Now, he brings those decades of professional insights to the Vikings, as the team looks to strengthen its administrative framework. The inclusion of such a seasoned veteran highlights a focus on depth within the front office structure. Skol. Ryan Pace's professional history is defined by his extensive experience in scouting and roster construction, though it is not without its notable fluctuations. During his 7 years leading the Chicago Bears, he was responsible for drafting key contributors such as Leonard Floyd, Cody Whitehair, Eddie Jackson, Roquan Smith, David Montgomery, Jalen Johnson, and Darnell Mooney. These selections highlight his capacity for identifying talent across various positions on the field. However, his tenure in Chicago also faced significant challenges, particularly regarding the quarterback position. Pace moved to acquire Mitch Trubisky in 2017 and later selected Justin Fields in 2021, 2 decisions that ultimately did not yield the long-term results the organization sought, contributing to his and head coach Matt Nagy's departure following a 6-11 season. Why does this matter right now for the team? The integration of Ryan Pace into the Vikings front office is significant because it adds a layer of veteran experience to a group already looking to refine its evaluation processes. While he is not tasked with final decision-making authority, his perspective on player personnel and professional scouting provides the current front office with a deep well of institutional knowledge. In the fast-paced environment of the NFL, having an advisor who has navigated the complexities of being a general manager allows the team to cross-reference their strategies against years of league-wide trial and error. This is not about changing the current direction of the organization, but rather about leveraging decades of operational experience to support existing personnel workflows. The Vikings are positioning themselves to utilize his broad exposure to different team-building philosophies. By bringing in someone who has seen the inner workings of 3 different franchises, the organization gains a specific type of analytical support that can influence daily operations without disrupting the established chain of command or personnel authority. The organizational changes in Minnesota extend beyond the arrival of Ryan Pace, as the team is also reinforcing its personnel department with new talent. According to his LinkedIn profile, the Vikings have hired Azam Kapadia to serve as their new Assistant Director of Pro Personnel. This hiring is part of a broader trend of staff movement under Nolan Teasley. Kapadia represents a fresh addition to the Minnesota front office, arriving after a recent tenure with the Seattle Seahawks. His path to the NFL started while he was still a student, gaining initial experience as a remote film analyst for the Cleveland Browns during his senior year at the University of Virginia. Following his 2023 graduation, he worked as a pro scout for the Seahawks. where he had also contributed in various capacities, including video, scouting, and recruiting support for the Virginia football program. Kapadia's arrival as assistant director of pro personnel marks him as the second staffer that Nolan Teasley has successfully brought over from Seattle to join the Vikings organization. This follows the high-profile addition of new assistant general manager Trent Kirchner, who also moved from the Seahawks to Minnesota. These moves suggest a deliberate effort to consolidate expertise within the pro scouting department, ensuring that the team's day-to-day talent evaluation is supported by personnel familiar with high-level NFL processes. By bringing in individuals like Kapadia, the Vikings are focusing on building a robust scouting infrastructure that relies on a mix of veteran insights from figures like Pace and emerging talent who have proven their capabilities in specialized scouting roles elsewhere. The integration of these new staff members is a clear indicator that the organization is actively looking to bolster its pro personnel capabilities during the 2026 offseason, maintaining a focus on administrative growth and analytical depth. The focus for the Vikings in 2026 is clearly on enhancing the depth and expertise of their front office, and Ryan Pace is central to this initiative. While the public often focuses on draft picks and high-profile signings, the effectiveness of a team's scouting department and advisor network is a hidden engine of long-term stability. Ryan Pace provides a specific, high-level lens through which the Vikings can view their current personnel strategies. Because he is not in a position to execute personnel decisions, his role is inherently one of guidance and secondary support. This structure allows the front office to benefit from his 25 years of experience without the pressure of his past record in Chicago dictating the current team's path. The Vikings are utilizing his unique background to bridge the gap between historical data and modern scouting needs. It is worth noting that Pace is not to be confused with Ryan Poles, the current Chicago Bears general manager, who the Vikings interviewed during their own search for a general manager back in 2022 before ultimately hiring Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. The distinction is important as it clarifies that the Vikings have evaluated their leadership needs carefully over several years. By bringing in someone who has managed an entire franchise, the organization is effectively outsourcing some of the heavy-duty analytical lifting to a seasoned veteran. This approach ensures that the leadership group in Minnesota has access to a wide array of perspectives when considering roster decisions. For the fans, this might not change the outcome of a single Sunday game immediately, but it signals a commitment to refining the administrative machine that builds the roster. The combination of Pace's veteran wisdom and new hires like Kapadia demonstrates a methodical, multifaceted approach to front office expansion. The organizational landscape for the Minnesota Vikings in 2026 is becoming increasingly defined by a strategic blend of veteran experience and new, specialized talent. Ryan Pace, as a football advisor, sits at the heart of this expansion, offering the organization a quarter century of NFL-specific knowledge that covers everything from scouting reports to management protocols. Having navigated the highs of an NFC North Championship in 2018 and the lows of a rebuilding process, his career provides a comprehensive map of what to pursue and what to avoid in personnel management. The addition of Azam Kapadia as the Assistant Director of Pro Personnel further underscores the focus on strengthening the pro scouting pipeline. With Nolan Teasley continuing to bring in staff from his previous stops, such as the Seahawks, the Vikings are clearly placing a premium on personnel who have been developed in competitive environments. The ripple effect of these additions is a more robust, well-informed front office that is better prepared to handle the intricacies of player personnel management. While Pace will not have the final say on the roster, his presence ensures that every potential move is scrutinized through a lens of deep, long-standing industry experience. The Vikings are effectively building a support system that minimizes blind spots by surrounding their core leadership with individuals who have diverse backgrounds across the Saints, Bears, Falcons, and Seahawks organizations. As the team continues to develop its strategy for the future, the integration of these roles will serve to provide the consistency required for high-level operations. By the time the season kicks off, this strengthened front office will be tasked with applying these combined insights to keep the team competitive, using every available resource to maintain the standard of excellence expected in Minnesota.